Good day folks, my name is Sean and this is Air Photography. Today we're going to be taking a look at TriplTeck's newest tablet. This is their new 8-inch tablet. They've made quite a few improvements. They've taken a lot of feedback that people had from the original one to do with size and power and a few other things. And they've actually come up with a pretty incredible tablet. Now what makes this tablet very popular with drone pilots is that it has a 1200 nits screen. Now the important thing to note about that, the 1200 nits, is that it's a sustained brightness. That means as you're using it outdoors, it's going to be at 1200 nits all the time. If we take a look at some common smartphones like the iPhone 12 here, now it has a maximum brightness of 1200 nits as well, but in everyday use you're not going to get that 1200 nits. That 1200 nits is usually reserved for things like HDR. The average brightness of an iPhone 12 in typical use is anywhere from 600 to 700 nits. On the new iPhone 13 that's been up to about 800 nits. But we all know too well what happens when you're using something like an iPhone to fly a drone. If it's a hot sunny day out, it's not long before the screen starts to dim. And that dimness can get so low to the point where you can barely see what's on the screen. And that kind of becomes a safety issue when you have a drone up in the air and you can't see where you're flying or what the controls or telemetry is saying. That becomes a bit of an issue. Whereas mentioned, the TriplTeck here stays at 1200 nits all the time. Even when you're outdoors flying on a hot day, it's not going to dim in brightness. Because I've actually had it for a couple weeks and I didn't want to make a review yet. I really wanted to test it out just to see how convenient it was. Of course, the other alternative is to use something like the DJI Smart Controller. Autel now has one for their Evo drones. The only problem with these smart controllers is, first, they're very expensive, and when you pay that kind of money, all you have is the controller, whereas something like the TriplTeck also function as an everyday tablet. The other problem is if you own both Autel and DJI, you have to buy two separate smart controllers. On top of that, they're only good for certain generations. And on top of that, the hardware inside is aging, and that's been apparent with flying the Air 2S with it. It gets a little choppy. So that's kind of the nice thing about going with a separate tablet. You still get a nice bright screen, 1200 nits, but you're not limited to one specific drone. If you see here, I've got all the different drone apps that I use. We got the DJI Fly app, we've got the Autel Explorer, DJI Go 4, I have Free Flight 6 from the Parrot and Afi, the Fimi Navi Mini for the Fimi Mini drone, and you can see here I also have the Hubzin 2.0 app for the Hubzin Mini Pro. So it is kind of nice in that aspect that you can fly multiple drones, and I've tested most of the apps out for the common drones that I fly anyways, and I haven't run into any problems. They all seem to be compatible. After all, it is Android 10 running on it, so any app that can run on Android is going to run on this tablet. So now before we get too far into things, let's take a quick look around the tablet and we'll talk about what's been upgraded. The first thing you can see here is we now have an 8-inch screen, and that's compared to 7-inch from the original TriplTeck. It's got a brand new sleek design. I actually really like the way it looks. It still maintains its durability, and this is actually now IP68 waterproof. The original TriplTeck was only splash proof, so this will perform a little bit better when it comes in contact with moisture. On the side here we have a volume rocker up and down. We have our power button. On the bottom here we have a flap, and that covers the USB-C port for charging. On the other side here we have an SOS button, and this can be configured to do multiple things. Here we have a slot for a SIM card and an external memory card. This is actually a 4G device, so you can pop in a 4G SIM card and use this as a telephone. You can make phone calls, anything you can do with a traditional smartphone. And you can put a micro SD card in here all the way up to 1 terabyte. So if you want some extra storage, you can put a nice large card in there. On the back here you can see we have 4 connectors where we can put that back strap on if you so wish. We have a 21 megapixel camera on the rear with a flash there right beside it. And on the front here we have an 8 megapixel camera. The new 8-inch TriplTeck has a 12,200 milliamp battery built in. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM and 250 gigabytes of built-in storage. It has a 64-bit octa-core CPU, and it has 3D GPU graphics. If you want to use it for gaming, you're able to do so without any problems at all. It's actually pretty fast. The screen resolution is 2560 by 1600, and you're able to use the screen when wearing gloves. And if it's wet, it'll work in extreme temperatures from 0 degrees all the way up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So the TriplTeck is built extremely tough, and if you're like me when you're out filming, sometimes that can be a good thing. Now, one of the key things that they did address with it is the size. When it comes to the width of the tablet, it is about the same. It's a little bit taller, but the big difference is here when it comes to thickness. You can see just how much thinner it is. And for a lot of people, that's going to be quite a bit more appealing. There are some weight differences here, and every gram counts when it comes to a drone display. So let's go ahead and we'll weigh the original TriplTeck here. And you can see there 709 grams, and the new one, the 8-inch, comes in at 661 grams. Not a huge amount of difference, but as mentioned, every gram counts. Now when it comes to mounting the tablet in something like the Air 2S controller, There are different ways to do it. Right on the TriplTeck website, they actually sell various mounts that you can use with it. Myself, I'm using a MAV mount. I like it. It's nice and stable. You have a spot here where you can connect a lanyard, and it has that option here where you can lock it in so you don't have to worry about it slipping out. We just mount the tablet in there like that, lock it down in, and then of course we'll connect our data cable. Now you will have to get a longer data cable. The one that is built in there that comes with it won't be long enough to reach up to the USB-C port. This one here I ordered on Amazon. I'll include a link to it down in the description of this video if you do want to take a look at that. And there we go. There you can see it's running with no issue. It's really hard to demonstrate the brightness of a screen when outdoors. The TriplTeck is definitely the brightest, and visually you can see that with your eyes when you're looking at it. Overall, I'm very pleased with the tablet and its performance. I love the new look of it. It's very sleek. It's a little bit more slim and streamlined now, so it's not quite as bulky. And just the fact that the display is 1200 nits means you're going to be able to see your screen even on bright sunny days. Well folks, that's basically it for this review. Hopefully you enjoyed it and got some value out of it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. It's always greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And we'll see you in the next one.